actually thought there's something wrong with me, I think. Crippling when you've got your own like financial anxiety. And then there's so much rejection that I think people don't like, because they don't see it, they don't think it happens. And I feel because of the way I look, people genuinely underestimate me, and people can't see the grit and resilience I have inside.
Today I have Rosie Gunn here with me. She is fearless. She does not take no for an answer. And this is one woman who is moving the earth to chase her dreams. She's making some serious waves here in the UAE, and she is definitely part of the unstoppable 5%. So who is Rosie Gunn? And I don't mean the business owner so much. I'm talking like the personal side of you. Who are you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. You know, my life has really revolved around work. This is such a probably sad answer, but like I get so much from what I do, and it's so much more than just work to me. Like it is everything. Like when I started this journey, I went through a bit of a personally quite dark time. And then I think the way that I kind of stepped out of that was throwing myself into building Endless in the UK. This was like 7 years ago. And it really became my life. But where some people may see that as, you know, I need to have more to me than that, but it's everything to me. I love it so much. Like everything I do, meeting the people, building the brand, is so fulfilling. And I just love creating things that it has been so all consuming, which is, you know, part of it, no matter what you're doing. But that has been my life for like the last 7 years. But aside of that, I love, you know, loads of other things like traveling, spirituality. Like really, I am into personal growth and personal development so much. Like no matter what I'm doing, I'm always trying to push myself out of my comfort zone in every way I can, as uncomfortable as that may be sometimes. That's something I'm hugely passionate about, which also ties into everything I do with the business. So who am I? Good question.
You know what? I'll take you back just to give you a moment to think through that question. But you know that you've heard that saying.
Yeah.
If you love your work so much, it doesn't actually feel like you're working
Yeah.
at all. I can't remember the saying. It goes something along the lines of,
Totally.
I don't even know.
And that doesn't mean it's not hard. Like so much of the time is hard. So much of it's tiring. So much of it I'm like feeling, questioning myself and doubting myself and all of that. But I do think like innately, if you love it that much, like it does keep you going. And so yeah, a big part of my life is work.
And you can see that you're so passionate. Like you can see it, you know, just as you're talking about it already.
Really, thanks. I really am. And I don't know what that big driver is, whether it's the vision I have or something in my heart, but like there's so many facets to it. Some are less enjoyable than others, obviously. But some are just so fulfilling. And I really get so much out of just like pushing myself. I think there's nothing more kind of like that gives you more of a sense of accomplishment than doing that. So yeah. But, you know, I like other things too.
Maybe if I rephrase the question a little bit, like what has shaped you, or what shaped you before Endless?
Yeah.
How did you get an interest in, you know, the fashion industry or even business?
Yeah, so I never really had a plan to...
Where are you from?
Yeah, so, good question. So I'm from the UK, by the way. I always loved fashion. I don't know why exactly or what that kind of instinct came back to, but I always loved style and not necessarily trends, but more just like I love that fit. It's kind of art to me. Like I just love that whole process. Then I went into buying, and that whole process is again creation. So it's like bringing something from nothing to something. And I think I love that too. My job that I was in was I worked at M&S in buying. Then I, at that point, kind of went through this kind of dark personal time, and I was kind of getting quite frustrated with my career, where I really wanted to go up the corporate ladder, where I felt I worked so hard, and my job has always been so important to me, and it's always been important to me to do something that I love, and I loved it so much, but I really felt like I was giving it my all, and I was so what's that phrase, like a ceiling. There's such a ceiling where I couldn't get, like I was giving it everything, but I couldn't get the promotion because of there's so many people, or you have to wait your turn, and it was years. So to me that's like so frustrating. I'm someone who really does genuinely believe the sky is the limit, no matter like as long as you're willing to put in the work. So I was getting to a point where there was a few factors, and you know it was a bit of a tough time for me personally. So I just thought, you know, fuck it, I'm going to leave and set up Endless, because I think that this is the future and it needs to happen. So that started that. I can't remember what the question was. I just gone off on a tangent. I do that, by the way.
I said, who are you, damn it? Who are you?
Yeah, sorry. Who am I?
well, then let's
I am Endless.
I am Endless, and by the way, I'm from the UK.
I'm from the UK.
So let's just go back then.
Yeah.
You're in the UK then, working for M&S
Yeah.
as a buyer.
Yeah.
You're going through some personal issues.
Yeah.
How far did you fall before and what was the point that allowed you to make a big decision, by the way, to go, I want to start my own business?
I guess I was just like, well, the moment, like personally, I just thought I was in such a dark place that I was like trying to like rebuild myself. And I just thought, if there's a time now to roll the dice and just do something different, like I haven't really got much to lose. In the back of my mind thinking, I have got quite a lot of experience, I've got a degree related to what I'm doing. If it goes wrong, I can hopefully get another job. So I just thought I'm going to give it a go.
What do you mean you've got nothing to lose? What sort of situation are you in that makes you think like that?
I guess I'm like quite a dark place, like really just like,
from relationships, from work.
Just from so many things that happened in my life that I didn't really come to terms with. Mm-hmm. And at that point, everything felt like it just came down like a ton of bricks. And it was almost like one of those real dark times where I was like really like not okay. Mm-hmm. Had to take time off work. I had to. And so as I started to rebuild myself at work, I thought, coincidentally, having this kind of idea and this vision, and my co-founder at the time had recently closed down her first startup and she was looking to do something else. And I was like, Hannah, this is like such a cool idea. You should set this up. And she was like, well, I can't do it on my own. I don't have any fashion experience. Will you do it with me? And I was like, oh, no. I never thought about running my own business. Like, I want to be like a buying director. I want to do the corporate thing. And then as it settled in, I was kind of like helping her in the evenings and the weekends. And I just couldn't do it was too much. And I just thought, I'm just going to give it a go. And so I left and I just thought I'm going to give it my all and hope for the best. But then it was a very, very challenging journey. But I felt like I had everything to give to this. That's all I wanted to do. So then through that, I like built Endless and I came with so many challenges and then COVID and lots of other things. But at the same time, it's been hugely fulfilling.
When did you realize you weren't like everybody else?
Ooh. Do you know... Probably like more recently. I really feel like I've never noticed that I'm not like everybody else. I actually thought there's something wrong with me, I think, because I felt like maybe looking back, I was shining brighter than I thought, and people kind of around me didn't like it. So I faced a lot of, I don't say hate, but I wasn't celebrated. And so I think that subconsciously made me shrink myself. Mm-hmm. Whereas now I look at other members of my team who I can see who are like 10 years younger than me, shining so bright, and coming to me saying that people are being X, Y, and Z, and I just feel like the people around you can maybe make you shrink rather than celebrate you. And that's what I love about Dubai and the UAE, where I feel like there's so many women who, like you, so thank you for supporting me, really celebrate women who shine. Like, they're not there to, I don't know what the word is.
Put others down.
Yeah. Like, I feel like people here really, really celebrate you. And that's something I'm really stepping into at the moment, where I feel like I've almost had a fear of being seen because I feel like it's not safe to be shining brightly. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I feel like it's such a pleasure that people actually want to celebrate you. So I feel like it's only been very recently that maybe I've realized maybe I am a bit different to other people.
Do you have some boundaries now in place to, let go of these people that aren't necessarily, allowing you to be the best version of yourself?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's been like a long journey with everything else. Like, for me, Endless has been like more, a personal journey, so much more than the business. Like, I've really had to kind of work through these levels of self-belief, self-worth, like shutting out the noise, shutting out the kind of all of these kind of things. And so really had to like learn who I am in a different sense, and have really strong boundaries, and really be very selective about who's in my life, and make sure that they're only people who have my genuine best interests at heart. And I think that's so important for success. I think the circle around you is like everything, and they have to be people who want to see you succeed. And that is, I think, like, I genuinely think that could be like the difference whether you make it or you don't.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you think allows you to block out that noise? Because that's hard. But I mean, particularly when you are shining, which you are in the UAE, you're getting a lot of publicity right now. Your marketing is going really well as well. Like, I see it almost every day when I'm scrolling, or like in LinkedIn, Instagram. So you're everywhere at the moment.
Yeah.
And as you say, not everyone wants you to succeed for their own reasons. They don't necessarily even know you. So that's something on them. That's on them. That's not for you to take in.
True.
But how do you block that out? So surely it's still particularly when you're so passionate about Endless.
Yeah.
How do you block out the naysayers?
Yeah, I think I've just got so good at being like so focused. Like it is noise really. Like, and anything that's noise is like stopping me from focusing. So between now and the end of the year is like crunch time for me. Like this is like my moment. Like everything has been building up to this point. It's our busiest time, like party season for us. Our team's grown. We've got the resources. Like we can really do this. And so for me, anything that's kind of like noise, I just have really learned to, like, in the kindest way, shut it out and have those really strong boundaries. And I think it's like almost comes back to like loving yourself. Like how much do you love yourself? Do you want to focus for you and everything you've done, or do you want to listen to these other noises? So I think it's mostly kind of that, I think.
So tell us what Endless is.
So Endless is, well, it started as a circular fashion platform, so rental and resale. And I set it up because I thought it was the future and I hated shopping with fast fashion, which was the only option at the time in the UK for basically someone like me who didn't have much. I was on a low salary, entry-level salary in London, and I went out all the time, so I wanted to have new outfits. I loved premium quality, but obviously fast fashion is very cheap and it's not very good for the environment. Everyone throws it away. So I kind of really thought that needed to exist in the UK at the time because it didn't. I also wanted to shop in more circular ways, but the only kind of option in that sense were kind of thrift stores or charity shops. So I really had this kind of idea that having somewhere like, I don't know, ASOS, Net-a-Porter online, so it's like very, very exciting to someone like me, feels like a really premium experience, but it is actually more circular. So it's better for the planet and it's not fast fashion. So that's kind of how it started.
What does circular mean? Sorry, explain that
circular
to
is kind
us.
of like a more conscious way of shopping. And instead of buying something once and throwing it away, like typically fast fashion is, which is really, really bad for the planet.
That's true, yeah.
It really is. It's kind of having this circular economy. So it's like renting or buying something that's already in existence and continuing that loop. So sharing, that could be the sharing economy, which Endless is. And that's with kind of like other people wearing the outfit rather than one person just wearing it once and throwing it away. So that's kind of like the circularity point. So it's a lot more conscious, a lot more sustainable way of shopping than, for example, buying something and wearing it once and throwing it away. But Endless has grown into something so much more than this platform. And that's more so in the UAE, which I'm really excited about. That's kind of like the crux of the business. However, our community side of things has grown so much, and kind of by accident. This was never part of the plan, the business plan, or anything like that. But we've managed to build this community of like the most positively amazing women with beautiful energy who really lift each other up. It's become more than a circular fashion platform, and Endless has become a community, I guess, now. And it's not really something I've actually thought about or realized, but just naturally it's growing, and we're doing so many events. And we think that women are not just about fashion, like the Endless girl. We're all like multifaceted diamonds, we say. So it's like we're doing everything from a book club to personal development to, you know, drinks as well, fun sort of party, brand launches, but so much more to bring women together, especially where in the UAE so many people are new and don't have many friends, and they want to meet people who are like-minded, who lift each other up. And there's really this huge sense of community, which for me has become the most beautiful thing.
And I think that's one way of surrounding yourself with, you know, these people that do want to see you succeed, do want to see the best version of you, allowing you to shine, and they want to shine with you.
Totally.
You know, and that helps you block out the noise. Would you not?
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah.
Focusing on the good is actually what I should have answered to that question. Focusing on the good people and focusing on, you and everything that's positive in your life and being grateful for that.
And I find when I walk into a room like that, the energy just feeds me. It like literally fuels me to go, I want more, I want to do more, I'm motivated to do this now. Oh my God, that goal that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
I love that. And I really feel that energy in the room, and I just like love it so much. Like to me, that is life, like so beautiful. And focusing on that does keep me going through the darker time or the harder times, the more challenging, because there are so many of those. But I feel like focusing on the beautiful women in every sense is just like everything.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about how we got here today versus we started with Hannah, and it was Endless as well, and it was back in the UK.
Yeah.
COVID hit.
Yeah, the trauma's coming back up.
Oh, sorry. You've got your sleeve.
Yeah, true.
And then you hit pause on the business during COVID.
Well, it was kind of a bit of a funny one. So we built the business and it was doing really well. It was so exciting. We were getting all this traction. It was such a new concept then that everyone in the UK was like loving it. We'd been spending kind of a year trying to fundraise. We were in our early 20s and both women. So that journey was very, very difficult. But eventually we did manage to secure some funding and we were like, oh my God, we finally did it. This is amazing. Best day ever. We can finally get on with all of our plans and scale the business. Then 2 weeks later, the UK went into a complete lockdown, which was really unexpected. It was like so sudden. And we were like, oh my God, we can't do what we wanted to do. So that put a bit of a spanner in the works. So we really had to kind of work out what we were going to do with the rest of the world. I know this wasn't just our problem too, but obviously the business was kind of revolving around people going out. So a bit of a challenge.
You could have started online parties where they had to wear a frock.
Yeah, we should have done that, you know. So this journey was, taking me back here. But this journey was like, we had to work through it like everyone else did. But we did start to kind of build the team. Like there was the ebbs and flow, the ups and downs of it. Eventually people were allowed out. But it was a funny time and it wasn't ideal, but we had to just kind of get on with it. So during this time, kind of our best renters were like it's so funny to look back, but like knitted dress, like, you know, woolly green flecked dress. I remember was like one of our best renters, or people were renting tops to go out to like the park for their like lockdown date and stuff.
Aww.
I know. So that was a bit of a journey and it actually led me to the UAE. So my sisters lived in Abu Dhabi for a really long time. And so I'd always come out here and I loved Abu Dhabi and the UAE so much. During this time, I think there was like a breather. I was single and living alone. So it was quite a lonely time for me too. I had a friend who was also single and alone. So she wanted to come out to Dubai. So we packed our suitcases when we could to come for like a 2-week trip to just like have some time together and ended up here. Then whilst we were here, I think the UK went into another lockdown. So we ended up thinking, well, everyone's working remotely. So I ended up kind of living in Dubai/Abu Dhabi, a bit of both, for nearly a year accidentally, but still working on Endless in the UK. And that really sparked the idea for me. Well, I kind of think I knew in my heart I always wanted to live here, but because I had the business in the UK, there's obviously so many factors into moving that or what I would do. So yeah, I spent so much time here. I loved it so much. I know this is the place for me. And that really kind of like sparked my idea to have Endless in the UAE too, because I also could notice how far behind the market is here. There wasn't anyone doing rental. Even like kind of circular pre-loved element is very there's not many options here and everyone's doing it on the Facebook groups. So anyway, I went back to the UK, finished things up there. Hannah and I, for multiple reasons, decided to close the business after what had been quite a challenging journey, even though we put our heart and soul into it. And we were still actually growing coming out of the COVID era, which was like amazing. And we were so happy for everything that we did. However, also in the UK, there were other competitors that were kind of like growing past us during this time. So there were so many reasons as to why we felt like it was the natural time to close it. Obviously, between us, our relationship had been extremely intense. We started as friends, and I mean, there's just so much to go through.
Challenges.
So many challenges, more than you'd have with, you know, a partner. I think like you just really, you know, there's so much to it that I haven't mentioned as well, like ups and downs and all sorts. But, you know, it just felt like it was time. It was like more a power move to just be like, I think we should just leave this here. And then I very quickly moved out to Dubai and then started the journey here, which was very exciting for me because I knew I wanted to be here. But at the same time, it was starting the business completely from scratch in a new region. But I was up for it. And so I gave it my all again. And that's where, that's continued and that's where I am today.
You know, most people just think, or what they wouldn't necessarily realise, like, what was that journey? How long was that when you started this business with Hannah to when you guys called it quits?
So it was the start of 2019 that I left my job and fully went in.
Yes.
So it's like nearly 7 years now.
So, but that's the part that people don't see.
Yeah.
They think sometimes business just happens. And, you know, when you talk about some people not necessarily allowing you or wanting you to shine, they think it's because you've just stepped into these shoes and suddenly you've got all this, publicity and you're so successful and you're doing well. But what they don't see is, not to mention the hard yakka, as I would say, behind the scenes right now. It's the 7 years of lessons and ups and downs, the roller coaster of business and relationships and friendships.
So much.
To then you have literally reinvented yourself. You've gone from a deep, dark place to learning as you go, to actually putting, as I would say, putting your big girl pants on and making a pretty big, tough decision. One, I want to move to Dubai. This is feeling like home for me. And two, we need to perhaps close this business down and go our separate ways. Like, they're huge decisions that literally change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, so it really is. There's so much that people don't see. And that feeds into financial anxiety. Like, it's crippling when you've got your own like business or startup. That's a huge one. And like making, ends meet. And
we've got no words today. We've left them in the car.
And we've got, the personal side of things, like you're saying, like relationships. There's so much that happens in that. And I think as you evolve as a person, no matter what, like people get left behind. There's decisions that you have to make. That's also very challenging. And then there's so much rejection that I think people don't like, because they don't see it, they don't think it happens. But the amount of times I've been rejected or ignored versus how I've succeeded is like on another level. Like, I couldn't even put it into a graph. Like, the amount of times I've succeeded is like this much. The amount of times I've been like rejected is like so much bigger. And I think that's what people don't see. And it's like, you just have to keep going, and you have to make it happen. And I think that is one of the hardest things for everybody. It's like not taking and that's been a huge journey I've been on at the beginning, where I would take something so personally and be like ruined and cry all weekend, to now I literally don't even like bat an eyelid. Like, it's just part of the job. Like, it's like so much rejection all the time.
It's a bit like online dating or whatever. The new form of dating is online, which I struggle with. I just don't do that so much anymore. But brutal. Someone once said to me, you need to be really resilient. But I feel like just in general, I think I'm a little bit older than you, but but you have to, in business, you have to be resilient.
Yeah. So much.
That's part of being, the 5% Club, which is where you're in. This is why you're different.
Thank you.
And which is why we're telling your story today as well, is you have got that grit, that determination. You're fearless, as much as you may not have felt like it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big decisions that not many people can make. But what I really try to tell people is the best thing in this world that we are privileged to have is choice.
Yeah.
True. You're making a choice to stay in something that doesn't fulfill you.
Yeah.
That's a choice too.
Totally is. And I just think, as cliche as it sounds, that you've only got one life, like, why not just try? Like, you have to just try. If it's like something that keeps you up, like, something that's just constantly on your mind and you want to do it so much, then just try. And what's the worst that could happen? Okay, like, you end up being broke, which I've been in that situation. Like, you can rebuild from that. Like, it's actually not the end of the world. Like, and also it makes your life feel more alive. Like, at least you're doing something that like drives you and fulfills you. Back to what you're saying, I totally agree. Grit and resilience are like the key things that like is like an ongoing thing, and that you just have to keep going. And I guess all of the more negative setbacks and challenges, when you look back, really have built that kind of strength within. And I guess that's a nice thing from all of the kind of hardships of building a business.
So let's fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you've come over here single, but I don't think you are anymore. So tell us about Chris.
Okay, so actually we moved here together. So this is a very I don't know if you believe in the universe and stuff, but
I'm so into the universe.
I feel like the universe did a thing for me there. So at the point of closing down Endless, Chris and I actually met on Hinge. So
it worked for you.
Well, yeah, it actually did. There is hope.
Dating app.
Most of my friends have actually met their like husbands and things on dating apps.
That's so beautiful. I love that. That's such a good story.
But I did, again, with the resilience thing, have to go through like so many.
Course.
Yeah, I went through a real that is brutal, that dating scene in London anyway. But in the end, it did succeed. So we actually got together in London, but then very quickly, I think it was like 3 months after, moved here together. So like I said, my sister lived in Abu Dhabi. Both of his brothers lived in Dubai. It's such an amazing coincidence.
Oh, it is.
And I wanted to move here, and he also wanted to move to Dubai. So we ended up very quickly moving here together, which feels to me like the universe did something at the right time when I needed it. The universe did me a good one, thanks. After all of the challenges, trials and tribulations, I got a blessing. So we moved here, which was very exciting. I wanted to start Endless, but I did take a bit of time because I was extremely burnt out, and it is, as we've mentioned, all consuming. So I took a bit of time to work out this, like, what I really, really wanted to do. And I started doing other jobs like hostessing, so I could, earn some money as well as kind of set up the business. So then I ended up doing hostessing, kind of modeling and acting, which kind of has like grown into something so much more. So at the time I felt like I was so lost and I didn't know what to do in terms of having that income, but it ended up working out in the end. But yeah, that's part of that story. Chris was working
That's the hustle part, right?
So the hustle.
To get
I'm
there.
still hustling.
I think it's our life forever.
Yeah, forever hustling. So Chris was working at PwC and in a job that obviously is, more corporate, so has the benefits of that, but at the same time, not fulfilling to him. And like, he really didn't feel like he was living, like, not fulfilling in any sense. Very corporate things that he just didn't really care about. So he, by default, got roped into doing Endless with me because we lived together. And he also, please. And it was just getting too much for me. So it was like balancing everything together. And so he took on some jobs, and then it kind of evolved naturally that he looks after now, the story continues, but is more suited to looking after more of the back end, and I'm more suited to looking after the front end. So we kind of had this natural, evolution of him naturally looking after more things and me looking after the other. And as time got on, he could see, although it is extremely hard and everything that is involved and it's very challenging, also very fulfilling and exciting. So he was really excited by doing it. He was kind of like doing PwC work, but then also on the side, like on customer service to girls with dresses. So he was like really getting excited by it, and he found that he was just ready to leave. So he eventually took the jump. But before that happened, we were still making sure that we could do the hustle on the side. So he got roped into some of these modeling and acting jobs as well. And we were kind of doing those two, which we still do, to make sure that we've, covered all bases. So he left the job, and then we both started doing like the hustle as well as Endless together, which continued for a really long time and was, full disclosure, extremely financially stressful for anyone out there. Like, so much anxiety with no stable salary between the two of us. Obviously that causes a lot of stress. So I'm going to put that out there.
I mean, it's important. That's one of the challenges. Again, it's not handed to you. You work for these things, and it's also it's a risk that we take. I mean, you probably know I've started many businesses, and not all of them have succeeded. Did I invest? I've invested my own money in all of them. So those that didn't succeed, that's money that's gone. But the lessons, the books that I can write and make the money back. No.
So true though.
But
those
like, they're the lessons that make the other businesses successful.
Completely.
And they also change you.
Yeah.
Like that brings in that, I feel like it brings in that resilience.
Yeah.
That makes you stronger, or, easier for you to make certain decisions.
Totally.
Be clearer on your vision.
Everything, all of those things. And I felt like I got really pulled apart in that first chapter of Endless, and so many investor meetings with so many men and things that really, really pulled me apart. But eventually, like over time, I can see now in a more positive place, even though at the time it didn't feel positive, that really built me and it really made the business what it is in the best way. But at the time, it just doesn't feel like that. But I feel like, all of those hard times do lead to something so much better. So and also just to add with the whole kind of hustle of the modeling and the acting and stuff, again, something that people don't see is there's so much rejection in that as well, and there's so much rejection in that industry, and so many people who are in it will see that. So it's not, that also wasn't easy. Just like, okay, we got a modeling agency and we got loads of jobs. No, that was like castings, rejection, everything. So the amount of time that went into the side hustle as well as the main hustle was just like crazy, but it all worked out. And it, there's positives too. We met so many people, which helped with the business. Like I think everything that you do has a greater meaning in the end.
I mean, by the sounds of it, the hard work that you've put in and the grit, so to speak. Most people will have quit. Yeah. But, you've kept going. And what is it that's made you keep going?
I just want it so bad. Like, I just know there's just something, people ask me this, and I do have a very clear vision of the future of what I want it to be.
Tell us, what is it? What is the big vision for Rosie Gunn?
It started as this thing that I said, that the reason I set it up, like, I guess similar to like a net-a-porter, like the new version of that, but circular fashion. I just genuinely believe that's the future, and I know exactly how to build it. But I feel like that is the vision. But so much more, there's so much more to it now that's coming through that I don't know, which is like the community side in the UAE and building that out to be something really beautiful with a positive impact and giving women like what we actually need. And there's things that I wish I had so much earlier in my career, kind of tying back to everything we're talking about with like resilience and all of the kind of personal development side of things. I just feel like we could build something so beautiful to like genuinely lift women higher.
Well, you're a good ambassador to showcase, you know, the fact that you can overcome the limiting beliefs. There are going to be obstacles that you can either go around or go over. By you leading that community, no doubt you are inspiring many women to just take a chance on themselves.
I hope so. And I think it is, back to the rejection thing, important to remember. And I think that's why people would get rejected and not continue to like, because they think there's something wrong with them because they got rejected, which could be easily done. But I just think it's important to know that I think it's important to share the amount of rejection I've had so that people know that that's completely normal and doesn't mean you should stop with your dream. You should just keep going. It's part of the journey.
Do you think that's been the hardest thing, rejection, or is there something that's been an unexpected, you know, hardship that you've gone through?
I think the rejection probably does really take its toll at times. I guess it's kind of all tying in together. It's these challenges of rejection, things not working out. And it's not that I didn't expect that. I did know that that was part of the journey, but like the sheer mass of it, I think when you're in a good place and like now things are kind of working out for me, it's okay to see that. But when you're in those trenches, it is really hard, like so hard and crippling. And I think, yeah, I would say that that is probably the hardest part. And then or you have to just have a deeper reason and some vision or something that keeps you going. And I think you do. If you do, you do. And I think you just need that really deep core feeling to keep pushing past that. So yeah, I think so. And it's not just with the business, the rejection side of things, it's the investment side of things. And I think for me personally, you know, I don't have a background in that. I am a woman. Statistically, it's so much harder for us. Especially when I was in the UK, I was a lot younger, and I feel because of the way I look, people genuinely underestimate me, which I can understand, but I feel like because I didn't realize that, and people can't see the grit and resilience I have inside from the way I look, I feel like that's really come against me as well, to really have to really prove myself to show that I am worthy of whatever. And I think that's a hard one, not just for me, but for all women. And I think that's also tough.
Do you think you should have to prove yourself?
I do think I should have to prove myself to a degree, but I think women in this kind of world have to really go that extra mile. And I think that's not right. And I hope in the future I can do something to change that. And that's why I care so much about lifting women higher and giving us a chance, because it's not right. It's not fair.
It's not.
And I hope I can make a positive change one day when I'm able to.
Well, I think you already are, firstly.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about money, because, you know, it does drive a lot of things. It also gives you the opportunities. It opens the doors.
Yeah.
And for a company that's trying to grow in a new country, whilst you're just trying to survive with, you know, the modelling and, you know, extra jobs that you're doing, how has the investment journey been?
Really, really hard. I can't sugarcoat this in the UK or the UAE. Like, both are hard. I think it should be hard. I think it should be hard. Like, it's a huge thing. Like, but I don't think it should be this hard. And I think the problem for me is because this business has been so female orientated. And I think the thing about meeting you was where I've had to be so tiring explaining what Endless is and what it's about, and, you know, rental and resale. So, you know, male investors is that like cars? Is that like bike rental? Like, you know, trying to get their heads around it. Whereas where I spoke to you, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. You don't need to explain it. And I literally went away and I was like, oh my God, I wish every investor I've spoken to was a woman. Like, obviously you just get it. Like, thank you. And I just think the hours I have spent draining my energy trying to explain something that quite rightly men might not understand. It's not their, like, you know, that's fair enough that they wouldn't. But like, I think that comes back to the key problem that most investors are male. So naturally they are going to understand male-led businesses. So there really is this issue for women who are trying to pitch ideas to men that are so female centric, and like, women know we need them. And that's not just my business. That could be, you know, health, beauty, so many things. And I think that's where like the gap is. And when I spoke to you, that's the first time that's happened, where I was just like stunned at the fact I didn't have to really say anything else.
Speechless.
Yeah, like that, like, thank you. Wow, shocked. So thank you. But I think that's such a greater message in that about, you know, women really supporting women in this way. But I know it's a much bigger journey.
That's good. So how is that journey going now?
So It's been a hard journey, but things are paying off, and we are really starting to kind of see some movement on that. So I'm really happy that we can finally get to a place where we can start to scale the business further and have people who genuinely support us, both women and men. But it's so nice to see that there's been women supporting us too, and again, building a community of supporters. So now that we are on the road with that, there's so many plans that we do have, and I'm excited for the future. But in the UK and the UAE, there's been conversations that have been going on for me for 2 years. And, it's not, oh, you just get investment and it's overnight. That this is really, I don't want to be dramatic, but it is almost torture. I think when you're trying to run a business and build it, and there's so many variables with that, that's very, very hard. Do the other side hustle as well as this whole project of that. There is just so much to it. And it is extremely challenging. But it can pay off in the end, and then you can, I'm happy that we've got to that point.
So we're recording here in October 2025 right now, and I often see many of us, we're tired. We're tired at the end of the year, but I also see November, December, I've got 2 months to get things done, and when most people are slowing down, the unstoppable 5% are still moving forward. However, there needs to be a point where you reset so that you can, basically fill the fuel tank to be able to keep going. What do you do to, bring the light back and have that energy to drive endless forward, particularly as we gear up to your most busiest season?
Yeah, you're completely right. This is the busiest time for me. I want to give it my all. I think it's important, there's so much happening for us with new team members, not just the business. There's so much that's needed from me personally, that I do genuinely want to give it my all. I feel like I've just put in the 7-year graft, we're talking about, and now is my moment. Nothing's going to stop me. I have to do it. But you're completely right. I need to look after myself, and I want to make sure, and I am at the weekends, to make sure I at least have one day off to kind of relax, reset my mind. I do other things like sound healing last weekend. I'm so into things like this where I need to just cleanse my mind, have that moment of peace. I do therapy as well once a month. That's been something I've done throughout the journey, and I just don't think I would be able to have done the journey without it. That time for me, now it's just once a month, but in the past it was more than that, has been that time for me to check in with me and make sure that, so many things like that, I think, is probably the most important thing, because you are the center of the business and everyone around it, and making sure you've got that balance is critical. So that's something I also do. I'd love to do a bit more exercise, and I'd love to have a bit more of a break, but January, this is the key time for me. January, I will take some time off. I did go to Zanzibar for a week as well, so I've had my moments.
Yeah, and I just came back from Bali for a week as well. Definitely wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
But I think you were in Zanzibar a couple of weeks just before me, and I was like, oh, she's doing it right. That's exactly what we need to do at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Just to create space. And I also find once my mind starts to calm down and slow down, all the creativity and crazy cool ideas come to make us even busier, of course.
Exactly. But it is so that, isn't it? When you have all the ideas, they come to you, it's so important. But it is a hard balance. It really is. At certain times throughout the journey, me, and the Q4 is the busiest. January is a bit easier for me to take more time for myself. So yeah, it is a balance of making sure you prioritize yourself, which I could get better at, I must admit.
So how do you manage it all? Who helps you time manage, with regards to delegating tasks and things like that? How do you build a team to help give you back some time in order to grow the business and take it in the direction you want to?
Yeah, so we've been fortunate enough now to have more of a team, which I'm so grateful for. Everyone is relatively new, so that does come with more challenges, but everyone's, really taken, believes in the mission, believes in what we're doing. And I do genuinely want to give everyone their own ownership of their part of the business, because I think that's so important. And so we're lucky enough to have a bit more of that. I do spend every day in the office. Chris, like I said, looks after more of the back end. I look after more of the front end. And I'm pretty good at my own time management. I'm super focused. I it's all priority led every day. Everyone's, sinking into those priorities and making sure, time blocking is another thing I love to do. My calendar is time blocked to I don't know, it's just so important to keep that focus on the priorities, because so much changes with all of us. But there's so much changing, startup life, new opportunities coming in that are so exciting. We're and it is a bit of a magical chaos. But I think the main thing is just coming back to the focus, making sure everybody's balanced, happy, and taking ownership for the parts that they are owning within the business.
What do you think is probably the best hire so far to help move you forward? or grow? Because you're leveling up. But, when you make that first hire, that's a sign of leveling up.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say any favourites.
No, but not about people so much, but more like the position where you've been able to delegate something that's freed up the time.
Yeah. Okay. So in the first instance, when it was just Chris and I, we had a virtual assistant and she was amazing. This is like a couple of years back now. And that took up a lot of, I was wasting a lot of time, not wasting, but some things take a lot of time, like customer service, deliveries, admin. And she took that on, and that really changed the game at that early stage because it meant that I could then look at, more of the business. So that really helped. Another one more recently that I didn't realize we needed, but because the team has grown quite quickly in a short space of time, there's quite a lot of, new faces, and I want to make sure the team's so happy and motivated and got their ownership and know what they're doing, because that's the most important thing to me. That I more recently, kind of another universe thing that happened, but hired someone who's kind of more of a chief of staff type person. So where I felt like I couldn't give my all to all the team members because I also want to focus on growing the business and doing other things and being at things like this, it's really, really helped me. This is a very recent change, to have someone to kind of be the extension of me and Chris, who's able to do that, to make sure that they're fully supported as well in both ways. So that's been probably a more recent good one for me.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you let go of control?
Yes, an interesting one. I like to think that I'm not too controlling. Maybe someone out there might think I am, but I genuinely want to give that control over to the team members because I know that it helps me. I want to trust people to get on with it. I want them to be so in sync with me, so clear on the direction. I know from my life that I felt the most motivated where I have had that full ownership. I don't feel like I'm micromanaged, like I'm free to do everything. And I feel like that's the bit that makes you thrive. And so I want to give that gift to everyone in the team. I guess it's a balance, having certain things that are so important to me and making sure that everybody knows that and that like the values align and the communication is there, and then empowering them to take that on as their own, and then keeping a check-in on that, but not in a not micromanaging. That is not a vibe.
I mean, it's something that holds many back, is that they just can't relinquish some control.
Yeah.
It's the trust part, which is on them.
Yeah.
But, a mentor once said to me, you need to move out of the way of your own growth or your own success in the business. And it was so fundamental to me.
Yeah.
That's allowed. And I've taken that with me all the time. I use it in my own mentoring sessions with others. But for me personally, it really stuck. And it was the first time that I did actually let go. And I think having been in the army, we are so controlling, right? Because you have to do all things, a very specific way. But that for me was a really good piece of advice that helped.
I love that. There's another one that I think is also good. It's like, which I've learned along the way, I think it comes back to trusting yourself. And I think I've had to learn that I need to trust myself that if they're not right, that I make the right decision, that will be that, or I'm trusting myself to know that I will make the best decision, I've hired the best person, or, I think it comes back to that at the end of the day, rather than trusting them or not them. It's about you trusting yourself with the decisions that you made based on how they operate. Does that make sense?
Where do you see yourself in and the business in 5 years?
Wow. Things are just happening so quickly. I can't even believe where I am today, speaking to you, having these conversations. It almost feels like a dream. So where I am in 5 years, I really don't know, but I hope Endless is the leading circular fashion platform, or even the leading platform in the UAE and beyond. And the community side, I hope it is just something so, so magical and big by then, but we'll see.
So for the young woman that's in, a little country town in England that is in a job that she's not enjoying, she's lonely, she's single, she's not happy, what's the advice that you would give her to make some sort of change?
I think you're never going to regret rolling the dice if you're not happy. You really won't. And I think you might as well try. It will make you feel more alive. And what's the worst that really will happen if you really think about it? I know we have so many fear, we're all stuck in fear mentality, but like I said before, I've been broke, it's been hard, there's all these things have happened, but I'm still standing. And is it that bad? You can get yourself out of anything, I think. And I think if your heart's really in it and you want to make that change, you genuinely only live once, so why not? Truly.
YOLO.
Yeah, but it's actually true. I know it sounds kind of cliche sometimes, but why not? Seriously.
Yeah, I say that saying all the time. Really? As well. Yeah, all the time.
Why not? Just live your life.
All right. Rosie, to wrap up today, I've
Okay.
got 10 fast and furious questions for you.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. Just like let it out.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
A book that changed your life?
Ooh, The Surrender Experiment.
Write that down.
Yeah, it's a really good one about mindset, about letting go and letting the universe do its thing. Doesn't mean that you're not going to work hard. It means that you could end up working very, very hard. But you kind of let the universe do its thing and you end up in a more magical place than you could have ever have planned if you controlled it.
Love that. And when did you read that?
Actually, years ago, but I want to read it again after just talking about it. It's a good one. I recommend it to a lot of people.
It's funny because there's always a book, and it may not be, the biggest change that you've done, but it's just impacted you. Even that small, it's like that seed that
really
was
is.
planted a long time ago.
That
And you bring
one
it with you.
It has actually changed my life without me realizing it.
One thing you tell your 19-year-old self.
So many things. So many
Hang on.
things. Just go for it. Like, I don't think I was very truly confident at that time. So I just would love to give myself a bit of a pep talk and just be like, who cares? Just go for it.
You got this.
Be you. Yeah. You've got this.
Guilty pleasure.
Chocolate?
Superpower that you wish you had.
Ooh. I don't know if I wish I could read minds, but I feel like I can read energies, but I feel like it would probably be helpful to read minds. What would yours be?
Superpower.
Invisibility cloak.
That would be very cool. Fly on the wall.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that, or
I don't know if I want to read people's minds either, but I feel like I have this little bit of intuition, but I'm all about energy as well, and intentional decision making, intentional doings and beings and things. So I don't want that superpower.
Yeah, it could be helpful in certain situations. I don't know what else I could have as my superpower.
A bit more time in the day would be good, I'll tell you that.
That's a good one. Yeah, okay. I agree
If I could
with that.
rewind the clock just a couple of minutes.
Pause. Yeah, that is such a good one. Okay.
But now I'm going to have to think about mine in case. Best advice you've ever received?
Ooh, there's so many.
You know what? You'll go home and at 2 o'clock in the morning or in the car ride back to Dubai, you're going to be, I should have said that.
I know. Okay, I've got one, but this is more for like when I've been in the real tough time. Like when you're going through hell, just keep going. Like you actually have nowhere else to go. You have to keep moving forward.
The only way is up.
And I think that's actually quite helpful when you're in that moment. You just keep going because you will get out of it. Even if it feels like you won't and it's like years of being in hell, you will actually get out of it. So don't forget that you will get out of it one day.
That's good. What's your definition of success?
Being happy, I think, really, no matter what that is for you, being fulfilled doing whatever you set out to achieve, being happy with family, being happy with friends, just enjoying your life, traveling, having joy, like that is success, isn't it?
The journey.
The journey, life.
But being present for it.
And just enjoying it.
Yeah. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be?
That's a hard one. I never know with this. Well, yesterday we did a really cool event with Roxy Nafusi. I don't know if you saw that. She's all into kind of self-development. Another person I really love is Nimi Mehta, who's also in the region. And I think, like I've said, I love those kind of conversations. So I think, it's not some ginormous, person from the past, but I think I'd really enjoy that.
And one word to describe your journey.
Hard.
What's next for Endless?
So much. We've got some really exciting things. Is this just one word?
No. This is this is one of our final questions. You can elaborate as much as you like.
We're opening a small boutique store space next week, kind of within our office, but that's been a really exciting thing because so many people want to come try on the outfit. Yeah,
sizing and
exactly.
stuff, yeah.
So that's quite a big thing for us, which I think is going to be really great for community too. Mm-hmm. And the run up to Christmas, we've just got some really cool community events and partnerships happening. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Where can people find you and the business then?
So you can find us online, endless.ae, Instagram, endless.uae. And you can find us in downtown. That's where we hang out, and that's where the team are, and the new boutique as well.
And anything else that you want to pass on to anybody?
Keep shining.
Just like you are.
Trying.
Well, Rosie, thank you so much for joining us today. If you are interested in listening to more of the Unstoppable 5% stories, to be inspired, I think that we're all trying to be part of that 5% club. And if that's you, please follow along with our journey.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yay!
Yay!
You did it!
Woo!